And in the news today, the Queen has been shaking hands with all of the poor people in a big scheme somewhere in a city. This shows how much she loves her nation. Over to Pauline for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Neil. Reports are coming in of protesters breaking in at Faslane nuclear base. According to reports, a theatre company began to perform at the North Gate, distracting guards and their dogs and guns. And protesters managed to walk in through the gate, and they're reportedly, what are they reportedly doing?
We interrupt this report to bring you live coverage of the Queen waving at some men on a scaffold. Yes, there she is, walking across the building site. I must say she looks radiant in her blue dress and gloves. She is reportedly wearing her very best painted oak teeth, carved from the last tree from a forest cleared to build a zip wire leisure facility in the south side of Glasgow. What a fitting tribute to the poor of that great city. Over to Pauline for some breaking news.
Yes, there are reports of something happening in the Middle East. Back to you, Neil.
Welcome back to our coverage of Queen Elizabeth's important work. You'll be aware of the important work she does around the country. Today is a busy day for her. Crick Nobinson, you're on the streets of London. What's he doing at the moment?
Thank you, Neil. I'm standing here with some extraordinary scenes. The Queen has been patronising lots of poor people, using lovely Native Gracies and disabled people. Here it comes, he's commenting on Twitter. He says, our Queen has been celebrated by poor people and rich people alike. We have to thank Rupert Murdoch for that. He has done more for our country and used the media than Diana ever could. Thanks to Rupert Murdoch, we love Charles, and that lot even more. Rupert Murdoch is a hero, and if people say differently, they hate the Queen and are going to roll, so yeah, trust you. Twitter issued a statement and confirmed their social media site has been hacked by Andy Coulson, in order to give Here We Come more than usual 140 characters. Back to the studio!
And in other news, some low-paid workers have had their pension payments raised and their final pension lowered. Over to you, Neil.
Yes, this really is an extraordinary day of royal news. I'm just reading on the wires that Pippa Middleton has been spotted wearing red shoes. Extraordinary!
Oh yes, that's extraordinary! Now the weather, Carolina. What's the weather got in store for the Queen?
Thanks, Pauline. Well, in London, we're going to have sun and honey drifting in from the regions. Thursday money, I mean clouds drifting from the regions. We did have a spell of some light showers earlier, but they've gone on to piss onto the rebellious Scots. Hopefully crushing them just like it says in our national anthem. And so, to summarise, we could give two fucks about the rest of it. But London and the Queen are brilliant!
Thanks, Carolina. While you're there, are you doing anything special to celebrate our Queen?
I am, Neil. Me and my family, we've stuck pictures up everywhere of her lovely face, and we're having a bit of a piss-up. We'll end up fighting with the po-faced neighbours who just don't fit into our royal upbringing instead. But hey ho, anyway, all of the proceeds are going to help the heroes. So we're right, okay?
Lots of lols, Carolina. You are a card. Over to you, Pauline. Anything else happening in the world?
Oh yes, there is, yes. In business news, the sale of Union Jack bowler hats has peaked in Northern Ireland. Here's a graph.
Crick Nobinson, you're somewhere in London. What's going on there?
Yes, here on the streets of London. Have you seen the old girl who walks the streets of London? Dirt in her hair and hair clothes and rags. Well, that wasn't quite the case when the Queen paid a surprise visit to an old people's home. The old people waved plastic Union Jacks, or kind of shook them, and one old bloke was wheeled out when he was appeared to look grumpy as our morning passed by. The privately run home having issued a statement and said he will be taken care of. And he has been parked in a wheelchair beside the house as he had to pay for his care. And to remind him, he has nowhere else to go. Back to the studio!
Yes, we love our Queen. We mean it, ma'am. Over to you, Pauline.
Okay, Neil, thank you very much. Over 2,300 Scottish people are officially unemployed, though the true figure is far higher. Of these, an obscene 103,000 are under 24 years old. A terrible indictment of a society with no future. For everyone directly hit by it, unemployment is a human tragedy. It means eking out an as inflation lets rip, usually spending it on essentials the first week, begging or borrowing for the second week. If anything, worse still, it means a sense of hopelessness and living without purpose, something nobody should be subjected to, whether that be older workers who've contributed to society's productive wealth for decades, or young people stepping out on life's journey.
We interrupt this report to bring you breaking news. The Sun newspaper and his sister paper, The Times, which uses much bigger words for clever people, have been reporting that some bloke has sold his Queen's Jubilee commemorative coin. He has reportedly made over £5 on the sale. He says this is going to help him pay his ginormous heating bill. Rupert Murdoch has tweeted, "This man clearly hates our returning soldiers and those losing limbs and lives in the desert sands. Fry him." Pauline.
Serious fucking stuff, Neil. I wonder what the Queen thinks of all that, after all her hard fucking work. Anyway, more news from North Britain. The people who've reportedly stolen a nuclear submarine have issued a statement. Does spending $100 billion on nuclear weapons when vital services are being slashed seem a sensible idea? Particularly when the bill will exponentially increase when relocation is added. The logical conclusion is plain to see. Just scrap it. We're currently taking these missiles and submarine back to the people who own it. The USA. We don't want it anymore. I bet they don't love the Queen, do they? Like we've not been from us.
What the fuck are they playing at? There were 2 sections that had no mention of the Queen. Fucking commie traitors. They're read to the BBC, I tell you. Oh, thanks Pauline and Neil. Yes, extraordinary scenes here as David Cameron boss have been running through the streets with the Olympic torch while giving the Queen a piggyback.
Thank you.
And that's the end of the news.